Peace be with you, peace be upon you. Blessings to all from the Most High. We found this book in the public domain, public access. No copyright infringement was intentional. And we bring it so all can have a better understanding of this popular religion or belief system and its music and so forth. This is called Rastafari, Rasta for you, Rastafarianism explained by Qädamawi Unique. Contents page. Continued. Introduction. Jamaica is so small for us. But as the older folks say, this particular person's ancestors, Lily, but me talawa. Small, but we are known nearly everywhere. But yet, when we are in Jamaica, we think about other countries, even though we are not well known in other parts of the world. Like many young Jamaicans, this author never travelled a lot apart from within Jamaica. Maybe while she was in Jamaica, if someone asked her, do you like to travel, or which countries would you like to visit, she would have said the United States, England, or somewhere small where people speak English. Since her childhood years, she's heard adults say this. They thought that visiting other countries, apart from ones that spoke English, would be difficult. They would feel so alienated. No way. Just before her adulthood, she had an opportunity to visit Europe. She called this an opportunity because it was not only to visit Europe, but also to visit France. And her dream had been realised because she always wanted to visit another country where they speak another language apart from her own, or Spanish. Her decision was quickly made. Yes, she was excited. She didn't even think of how it would be for her in another country that she knew nothing about and didn't even understand a word of French. The only thing she knew was that she had a friend living there, so she thought maybe he could help her to understand, we could help her to understand a little bit of French. Upon reaching France, while she was in the airport, she listened to how they spoke. She started trying to see if she could understand, but she couldn't understand a word. Then she started feeling alienated and wondered about how it would be for her. After a few months, she learned French with all her heart and mind. She began trying to find information on how or where she could learn it. After a few months of research, she finally found a place that accepted her. Finally, she started learning French in a high school where they had a class for foreigners. She was the only one of English-speaking origin, so it was very difficult for her to communicate with others, even with her dictionary. Each day at school was more and more difficult for her. Almost all the students were women, with the exception of one male. The first day at school, they all introduced themselves. When it was her turn to speak, everyone started laughing when they heard her accent. But this really didn't bother her. She never understood anything while the women introduced themselves. The only thing she understood were their names. After 3 weeks at school, the teacher was amazed at her progress, or by her progress. By communicating with the woman, she started losing confidence in herself, because most of these women had been learning French for approximately 5 to 10 years. Anyway, she decided if she really wanted to speak this language, she could. The more time passed, the more her knowledge and vocabulary grew. At the end of the month, there will be an exam, said a teacher one day. This exam determines who will stay in the same class and who will progress to a more advanced class. She continued, this class is called Alba, which means that this is the first stage of the learning process, after which is decline, for those who can read and write in French. Most of these women had never been to school. They did not even know how to comport themselves in public. Most of the time they spoke in their language that was mostly Arabic. When the teacher asked them why they didn't speak French, they just smiled. After that, the author came to the conclusion that there was no secret to learning a language. If someone tries to learn a new language and always speaks in their mother tongue, they will never learn the new language. After 6 months of study, the author thought she was now capable of understanding if someone asked her a question. At the same time, she was curious to know many things. She even started comparing certain things with those in Jamaica. Everything was different. The language, of course, the expressions, the food, and most of all the climate. Not only when it's winter, it surprised her. When it was winter, it surprised her. But during summer, the sunshine that she'd seen nearly every day in Jamaica, that she called very hot, there, she had the impression that it was 2 times hotter than in Jamaica. When it's spring, the country amazed her. Many places were so beautiful, the trees awoke, and there were lots of beautiful flowers on the ground. With all the experiences she had there, she would like to have known what the French thought of Jamaica. Jamaica is not well known by the French. As for the Jamaicans, France is not well known. The French learn of Jamaica through the media or through Jamaican music. By listening to their point of view, the author concluded that for most of them, Jamaica is an island with many Rastas who use cannabis, and there are lots of smokers. There are marijuana plants in abundance, and if you want these experiences, the place to visit is Jamaica. They also talk about reggae music, and for them, Bob Marley is a legend that lives on. In addition, Rastas for them are Peter Tosh, Toots and the Maytals, Burning Spear and the group Israel Vibration, because these are the few internationally famed Jamaican artists that they know or maybe heard about. They know that these artists have the joy of living just by listening to their music. She explained to them that Jamaica was not like that. She even told them that if they ever visited Jamaica, it would not meet up to their expectations. They should not believe the media or someone who went there on holiday only for 1 week. In 1 week, they won't discover anything, and cannabis is strictly prohibited there. The film called The Harder They Come with Jimmy Cliff also influences them. They think Jamaican life is really like that. But then she explains things, and times have also changed. Maybe in the late 70s and early 80s, before the prohibition, it was like they imagined. But now we are in the 21st century, and time has changed things. That's the reason why she decided to explain the lives of Rastas in Jamaica. Some things explained. Translations. Backbiters. Criticism. Gargamel. Very attractive. Ital. Untreated food, which generally means it contains no additives, salt or chemicals. Jah. God or Jehovah. Jam down. Jamaica. Mi Talawa. Famous, well known. Skylarkers. A person who is unemployed and refuses to work. When, where and how Rastafarianism came about. Rastafarianism has its roots in Jamaica in the 1930s, with the prophecy of a black being crowned in Africa. The Rastas argue that according to the Bible, Psalms 87:4, there is a prophetic reference to Haile Selassie, born in Ethiopia, as being the Messiah. In the early 1920s, Marcus Garvey was an influential black spokesman and founder of the Back to Africa movement. He often spoke of the redemption of his people lying in this future black African king. A few years later, the prediction was fulfilled in Ethiopia. Haile Selassie was crowned on November 2, 1930. Upon his coronation, he claimed the title of Emperor Haile Selassie I, power of the Trinity, for himself, conquering the tribe of Judah and elect of God and King of Kings of Ethiopia. After his crowning, the Rastafarian movement gained a following and officially began in 1930. An important historical event in the Rastafarian movement occurred when Haile Selassie visited Jamaica on April 21, 1966. This event resulted in 2 profound developments within the movement. First, Śəllase convinced the Rastafarian brothers that they should not speak of immigrating to Ethiopia until they have liberated the people of Jamaica. Second, April 21 has since been celebrated as a holy day among the Rastafarian communities, as well as August 27, the day of Haile Selassie's death. Śəllase I. Liege Tafari, later known as Tafari, and also as Haile Selassie, was born on July 23, 1892, in Harer, Ethiopia. Before his birth, chaplains and astrologers had been foretelling the infant's birth. The planets Neptune and Pluto had started moving slowly towards each other in 1399 along the heliocentric line, taking 493 years to intersect. At this precise time, Liege Tafari was born. This was the first day of the zodiac sign, Leo, an event that would later help to prove his title at his coronation, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. Liege Tafari was also the last Ethiopian emperor. He came from a strict Ethiopian Orthodox family. As per the tradition, he was baptized on the 40th day of his life. It is rumoured that as a child he was able to speak to animals. Legend has it that he could converse with leopards and lions, and these ferocious beasts would become gentle and peaceful in his presence. This is why in Jamaica today the lion is seen as a bringer of luck to households, and thus painted onto the walls of many houses. At the age of 24, Tafari was made chief advisor and heir to the throne of Ethiopia. With his power, he reorganized his country by building more schools and hospitals and sending Ethiopians abroad to study and uniting various regions of the nation. In 1923, he successfully interred an Ethiopian into the League of Nations, making it the first African nation to enter the League. He also established the Ethiopian society's commercial industry. He thus had a huge impact on Ethiopia and the black populations around the world. To the Jamaican Rastas, he is a father figure, a teacher and a guide. They believe that Tafari brought them to Jamaica from Ethiopia and that he allowed them to become free to govern themselves. The memory of Tafari continues to live through Rastafarianism. Rastas in Jamaica makes up about 500,000 out of the total population. The Rastas are called by many names: Bongo Man, Dread, Natty Bongo, Congo Man, Bingi Man, Bingi, but the most used term is Rasta. The religion of Rastafarianism operates differently from other religions. They believe in one supreme God, which for them is Jah. They believe in unity. What they are doing is trying to capture the attention of Jamaicans to educate them about the world in which they live, which they describe as corrupt. They have their churches, they sing their songs, they pray to their supreme God, Jah, for guidance. The appearance of Rastas. The Rastas dress in bright coloured clothes with a dominance of red, green and gold. This represents Africa. They wear this like a uniform to symbolise that they always have Africa and Jah with them, not only in their appearance but also in their hearts. Most Rastas' houses are decorated with bright colours also, black, red, green and gold. The black represents the people of Africa. For them, they are the people of Africa, and Jah is always with them to show them the way, the right way. On their houses they draw a big lion, and they make a lion pendant to put on their chains, to have this iconic animal spirit with them all the time. This lion is the conquering lion from the tribe of Judah, which protects them from their enemies, to give them faith, and to remind them not to be afraid. The consciousness of Rastas. The Rastas are very conscious of their black history. They think that without the existence of Rastafarians, black people in general will not be conscious of their history. They believe that Haile Selassie I is the reincarnation of Christ. They also believe that without the existence of Rastas, the blacks would never receive justice in countries that are predominantly white. 8 out of 10 Rastas' dream is to return to Africa. As they always say, Africa is our homeland and we should settle there. They also believe that the black people suffer a lot of propaganda from certain white races. These Rastas seek the help of many Jamaicans to educate them about the past and the world in which they now live. Still, certain Jamaicans reject them because they believe these Rastas to be too strange in their thinking. Most Jamaicans would say that they don't understand the behaviour of Rastas. But Rastas believe that without behaving this way, people wouldn't understand what they meant. They even explain to people not to be surprised by their outfits. It's just a symbol of unity. The beliefs, rituals and symbols of Rastas. For the Rastafarians, native herbalists use ganja as a folk medicine, particularly in teas, cakes, medication and a smoking mixture with tobacco. But it now takes on a new role as the religious sacrament. They believe that not even half of the full potential of this plant has been discovered, and Western society misconstrues it as being reactionary. The Rastas think that ganja is the only plant in history that has always been criticised by people who know nothing about it. King Solomon, who is considered to be one of the wisest men, is thought to have used this plant because it grew near his grave. He has never revealed any of the secrets of this plant. Maybe he kept all these secrets to be wiser than everyone, and perhaps that's why the whole of Babylon is against it. After lots of studies on marijuana, they came to the conclusion that it is the only plant that produces a psycho-spiritual effect and has medicinal functions for people suffering from stress. It produces great visions and a feeling of togetherness and so forth. The Rasta mockers. There are many people, mainly male, who don't practice anything remotely Rastafarian. They imitate their physical appearance like hair or dress styles. These males shave all their hair around the sides of their head and leave only some at the top. They knot the hair on the top, just like the locks of the Rastas. For certain Rastas, this is seen as a form of mockery, but for the true Rasta, each individual lives their life their own way. If they want to look like that, then why not? The true Rasta is only against the ex-Rastas, those who have cut their hair and given up everything about Rasta teachings, because they are afraid of what society thinks of them. Such would never discourage the true Rasta. They simply grow their hair to follow Jah's example, but they say you don't have to dread your hair to be a Rasta, for being a Rasta comes from the heart. What upsets Rastas is when their fellow Rastas change overnight, because Rastafarianism teaches how to be oblivious to society's many temptations, and just be yourself. I and I, as they say. Alcohol and Rastas. A true Rasta will never drink to the point that he's drunk and go on the streets, harass others and take what is not theirs. They are not really a threat to society. They don't use substances that Haile Selassie doesn't use. Whoever uses other substances or drugs apart from the healing herb are disrespecting Selassie's laws, and so forth. And look at Rastas in Jamaica. For the Jamaicans, reggae music is very culturally significant. The generations of Marleys, including Peter Tosh, Israel Vibration, LKJ, there'll be Linton Kwesi Johnson, Burning Spear, Justin Hines, Stranger Cole, and others will never be forgotten. Now the generation after Marleys takes reggae music even further as they create various different styles, but still stick to the reggae roots. In Jamaica today, most people appreciate reggae ragga. This is mainly used at the dance hall. Today, these reggae ragga artists influence the youths of Jamaica. At the very beginning of the rise in new styles of music, most of the lyrics spoke of luxury, money, guns, big cars, girls and sex. The youth of Jamaica were really influenced by these artists' ideologies, and after a certain time their goals and values in life changed to reflect those materialistic ideas. In today's society, almost everyone wishes to achieve such materialistic goals. At the same time, they live alongside the Rastas who have always sung about love, peace, togetherness and freedom. But for young people of today, that's not enough, and they prefer to listen to their idols who are part of modern society. Some violence in Jamaica is caused by such youths. Some of reggae ragga music was banned from the radio because many of the lyrics spoke of violence or racism. After a while, most of these artists realised that it doesn't make sense to create music which transmits such messages, which gets banned by radio stations. It is they who are the losers in the end. The Jamaican youths believe that Rasta suffer from mental slavery. For them, the past is the past, and we should live in the present. They would like the Rastas to remember the following line from one of Bob Marley's songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our minds. Until the Rastas do this, they will not be able to appreciate living in Jamaica. For the Rastas believe that everyone has a goal in them, and that this goal is to return to the land, the promised land, Africa. The day they reach their promised land, Jamaicans will finally feel at home, because to feel at home one has to be in one's homeland. Since slavery, when they were taken away from Africa, they have never been able to return. Every day the white races supposedly claim that Jamaicans are originally from Africa, but if they are, what are they doing in Jamaica? When all this history is cleared up, perhaps they can finally feel at home in Jamaica. Rastas dream not only of seeing blacks coming together, but also for all blacks to be united. They don't really think that blacks should only stick with blacks, but that each colour can be mixed. Just don't forget who you are. The life of Rastas. Most Jamaican Rastas live in the mountains or hills. They are nearly all farmers. They grow vegetables to be sold in the market, and in their spare time they make clothes to sell so that they can have a little extra money, just enough to help them pay their bills each Friday or Saturday. They will take their vegetables to the market. They may have a wooden cart in which they put their vegetables on for sale. Most of these vegetables are kalaloo, cabbage, lettuce and cucumber. It's not very easy for them to be in town because of certain people who will stare at them, criticise them or simply be too scared to go near them. They are only there to sell their vegetables long enough to earn a little money. Sometimes they will have been in the market for many hours and still not have sold any of their vegetables. They will then try to draw the attention of potential customers by singing the time people, Selassie son selling, or I and I have all types of vegetables selling, like kalaloo and cabbage, lettuce and cucumber. Some people will buy them from them out of pity or because of the manner in which they publicise themselves. After they have sold their vegetables, they will go do their own shopping for some essentials they cannot produce themselves. After that, They will return home to their houses in the mountain. That's the only way they can feel at home with their wife and children together. They are one big happy family in unity and love, far away from aggressive people. The Rastas are not lazy. They work 6 days a week on their farm. They produce things that nature provides them with. They are not just vegetarians, but eat food free of salt, preservatives and additives. They avoid too much coffee, alcohol or other drugs. And the Rastas' children education. The women Rastas in Jamaica are mainly the wives of the male Rastas. These women work on their husbands' farms or as vendors in markets. They sell things that they make themselves. They learn how to make clothes by embroidering, after which they learn to make hats, belts and clothes for babies. Their husbands will go to the mountain to pick a type of fibre called wicker. These plants are then sun-dried and used to make furniture, which they sell in villages and towns. These people are very creative and they make marvellous things by hand. After they sell their crafts, they come out with more of an idea on the needs of their customers and will prepare this for the market the week after. These Rasta women are also excellent mothers and spend a lot of time educating their children. There are certain Rastas who wish that they had their own schools for their children. They know what they teach their children won't fall on deaf ears. Oh my gosh, okay. Part 2. The other side of Rastas. The Rastas don't find it difficult to mix with non-Rastas. They don't even try to force others to think like them. But they know that in Jamaican society it can be very, very difficult for them to integrate into almost all workplaces because of their particular way of dressing, eating and expressing themselves. For example, to work in the police force or at a bank, they have to have short hair or dress in suits or uniforms. Some people would find it shocking to see a Rasta work in these kinds of environments, but a Rasta's ambition is not really grounded in this sort of work or trying to establish a career. What they really want is to educate the Jamaicans about their culture, and it is reward enough for them to catch the attention of some Jamaicans who take an interest in the truth about the hidden history. The Rastas will never change anything about themselves. They believe that until they are accepted and recognised by everyone, people will simply have to deal with their parallel existence. The lives of Rastas in town. There are certain Rastas willing to prove to non-Rastas that they are able to lead a normal life in towns. They will function in the normal world according to society's rules and moves, but they will also try as much as possible to keep their own traditions while doing so. These Rastas tend to be their own bosses and run record shops or clothes stores. Those who own stores will show to others that even if they sell modern clothing, they still retain their own sense of dress. They live in hope that people will eventually see and accept them as they are, in spite of their difference, just as they accept everyone with their differences. Sometimes the Rastas are treated badly by others and thought of as lazy or dirty. Most Rastas will never bother going into an employment agency to get work. They know it's just a waste of time because they know that they will immediately be judged by their appearance. Those Rastas who can't afford to be their own boss tend to become farmers. The Ital Party. The Ital Party is a party where Rastas celebrate at their homes with others. They will invite others, including non-Rastas, everyone is welcome, to share their food and will prepare their favourite dishes, most of which are a mixture of fish and vegetables. They prepare lots of naturally made juice because they consume little or no alcohol. All these dishes are without salt, which is why it is called Ital. At these parties, they will mostly listen to reggae music or play guitars and drums. They will talk about Jah's love, which is symbolised by the fact that everyone is together with no hatred in the heart, just love, like it could be a paradise on earth. The true living God. The Rastas have strong faith and believe that Haile Selassie is the true God who Marcus Garvey prophesied as such. He is thought to have said, "Look, in Africa, a black king will be crowned." Haile Selassie was crowned king in Ethiopia. The Rastas believe in the Bible, but they think that certain Christians did not correctly interpret certain scriptures. They are not against Christianity or any religion, but what they are against is what is taught to the people. They have a different understanding of the word paradise. They believe that paradise is here on earth, that if everyone came together, prayed together and shared their joy, heaven would be here on earth. Rastas are still waiting to see their paradise, which is since the time when their tribe in Israel was separated and taken from Africa to be sold as slaves to return to Africa. Well, when they finally reach this promised land and their tribes reunite, they will feel like they are in paradise. All their troubles will be over and they will finally feel at home, where everyone unites in love and all hatred will be finished once and for all. They would listen to their reggae music, have good times, give praises to Jah, and rejoice in knowing that they are far away from the Babylon system. They know that this will take many years, but they don't lose faith. The next half of history will be told the day they return to Africa. And they have a grand market in Jamaica. The discovery of Jamaica. The Rastas believe that the history of Columbus' discovery of the Americas is false. They believe that Columbus never discovered Jamaica. How could he discover Jamaica when the Arawaks were originally there? They believe that if Columbus had never been to Jamaica, the Arawak Indians would still exist today. Christo there come robbed us. They will never forgive this man who pretended to be friendly with the natives but gave orders at the same time to destroy them. Though they say a plant known as cassava killed the Arawaks, the Rastas know better. Columbus made people think that there finding food to eat was difficult and not even wild animals could be found in the mountains. And the only thing the natives were able to find were cassava, that because they ate this plant before it was ripe they were poisoned. For the Rastas this is just falsified history. They know that someone killed the Arawaks. It seems that true Jamaican history has been forgotten. The only people who won't forget are the Rastas, and they maintain the custom of naming their business after the Arawaks. That sounds very familiar, like Arawa. There might be some Maori people that then suddenly say, oh, that's us, from Arawa. But yeah, not too sure if that's Te Arawa and to do with the Assyrians. The Deliverance. Today, Jamaica has some of the most talented Rasta musicians in the world. These include Buju Benton, Beanie Man, Capleton, Ninja Man, Sizzler and Anthony B. Never heard any of them. Only Buju Benton probably. Just to name a few, they transmit the Rasta message through their songs. By listening to their lyrics you know exactly who they are. These artists don't like it when people call them rich, because for them being rich should not mean having a lot of money, but having lots of knowledge and being wise and passing on this wisdom to others through music. People overseas think of them as celebrities, but in Jamaica they don't live the lives of celebrities, but the life of a humble man, one who works honestly for his bread. Sometimes listening to their music you can understand that they don't make music just for people to purchase and consume, but to listen to and take it in as food for their spirit. Each day in their prayers, these Rasta musicians ask Jah for guidance, or God for guidance, because they know life is difficult. They always ask this question: do true Rastas exist? And they ask Jah or God to deliver them from sins, to let them be clean before his eyes, and let them be there to help people who are in need. As say the Rastas, the ancient days are over, we are now living in the present. As they pray together, bless me Jah, Rastafari, because no one is perfect in your eyes. As they come together to worship, they say, help us O Jah, because we feel that deliverance is near. Society's pleasures. Christianity, the religion practiced by most Jamaicans. At least one person out of each Jamaican family goes to church. Jamaica is a Christian country where nearly everyone believes in God. Most Jamaicans go to church on Saturdays or Sundays. They refer to the Bible, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Those who worship on Saturdays believe that you shouldn't do certain things during the rest of the week. Playing music that isn't Christian, for example, or even do some shopping. On Sundays, nearly every house is quiet. If someone were to pass on the street, all that they would hear would be music playing, Christian music. The very faithful will wake up extremely early in the morning to prepare their dinners for after church. For the Rastas, the practice of going to church on Saturdays or Sundays, as do the Christians, is just like remembering God, Jah, only on these particular days. They believe that this way of worshipping is mistaken. Rastas don't believe in the offering, for they think, how can you help others by just believing in God? They believe that the preachers have many opportunities to educate the congregations, as they believe that he's a true man of God. For the Rastas to merely get some attention from these people is not enough. Their aims are to unite the people and make them come together to worship Jah or God in the way they were taught. He should be praised. They believe in the Bible to be the true book and that it will protect them from their enemies. Most of the time they keep the Bible on them to have Jah or God and His word with them at all times. Yeah, Sunsplash in Jamaica, it's a big reggae festival. They have quite a lot. The African Pride. Rastas believe strongly in fighting for their rights, but to obtain this they will not tolerate any shedding of blood. This fight requires much patience but no brutality. In order for black nations to move forward, they ask themselves the questions over and over: why can't we be united? All that needs to be done is to put all our differences aside. We must come together, cease war and fighting. As they say, who knows better that must do better. They believe that since slavery the black population was made unhappy and told many lies. But now that black people are allowed education, they now have the opportunity to learn right from wrong. They thank Jah or God for the knowledge of musical communication, because this helps them to come together, because togetherness is what the black nations need. When they think of Africa, they say, Africa, I'm crying over you. You know that's not the way it's supposed to be. For them, it seems like Africa is rejected by some people because its riches were taken away and left only with the image of a country with many dangerous diseases and poverty. Rastas believe that when they return to Africa, everyone will unite and things will be much better, because together they will defend what's theirs. As say the Rastas, the rich are wise in this concept, but the poor are filled with understanding. Okay, the Rasta lovers. When they love someone, they will give them all their heart. When they think of the word love for them, it's an unconditional feeling. They think that when someone is in love, his mind is at rest and he wants to do his best. Being in love, you can never be the same. Your face is pure delight. It's like you have all the love that you never had before. They believe love can never die or leave you. If someone loves you, he or she will always love you, no matter the separation. You'll always linger in his or her heart. They believe, take a woman and call her your wife. This doesn't mean that they don't believe in being married, but they believe that one need not be married to have a solid relationship if it is based on love. Okay. As the Rastas say, you never miss the water until the well runs dry. And so forth. Yeah, girls and pets. As said before, there are certain reggae singers who make Jamaican women go wild. Their lyrics make women feel their love as though they were close by. Most Jamaican girls' wishes are to spend one night with these artists to know whether they are as romantic as the songs they sing. Shaggy and Buju Banton are said to be the most romantic of these artists, and certain women will even break up with their partners because they can't make their love be felt the way these artists tell the woman how it's supposed to feel. Certain Jamaican women even call their partners by these artists' names, and this makes them feel ridiculous. These artists make women out to be the most beautiful things on earth, and that they need to be cherished the way a child cherishes his pets. For them, this world is neither for women nor men, but our world. And Jah, or God, created women for men. The Jamaican men like these artists. They are their idols. It's a pretty good outlook. Jamaican lifestyle, single parent life. Most Rastas are born of single parent families. When they consider how hard their parent had to work to assume responsibility over them, it makes their love grow stronger. Most times it's the mother who is responsible for them. They know that their mother had to play the role of both mum and dad. Sometimes they want their mother to know that when she cries, they are crying too, because when they see the look on her face, they are really sad. They encourage their mothers and comfort her, saying that even if her lover is gone, they are here for her more than ever. Rasta musicians have much respect for their mother, and they will sometimes write their favourite songs for their mothers. Now for boys in school in Jamaica. Heroes or their heroes. Many Jamaicans consider Bob Marley a hero. They even compare him to an apostle or saint. Like Saint Peter, Marley spread the work of Jah or God to all corners of the earth. Yet it wasn't very easy for him to capture the attention of the people by preaching Jah's or God's love for them. He was very smart, as he found a way to do this by singing. Many people around the globe adored him and appreciated his songs, but there were some people who didn't like his image. But Marley was very proud to be a Rasta. He was sent by Jah or God to be the first Jamaican Rasta to represent his fellow Rastas. This death left many Rastas mourning. Today he still lives in the hearts of many Rastas. The Rastas have strong faith, and now they do what Mali did. Fight for their freedom, hoping that one day they'll be free. There's also Marcus Garvey. For Jamaicans, he is more than a hero. He not only stood for his rights, but for his culture, his people, and his God. He taught the nation about his unjust life, and Rastas vow never to vouch for the same treatment. For Rastas, he is the most important person in their history, as he was the only one to tell them who they really are. And he founded the United Negro Improvement Association and accomplished many wonderful things in and of the poorer black nations. With all his experience, he knew that the only place that his people would be free was in their homeland, or Africa. Gargamels. Gargamels are men who can't help thinking of women and find every woman attractive and irresistible. Certain men believe that they have been like this since birth. They think that it's like an illness, but for which there is no cure. Sometimes just listening to these women speak makes their knees start trembling and their heart beats faster. Just a weakness that has no cure. Certain men provoke these feelings just to prove to women that they are the most romantic men on earth, and they were created especially for them. Some of these men who are always irate women have so many ideas in their minds that even if they had all the women in the world, they would still not be satisfied. For them, it is not a form of disrespecting women, always giving them compliments about their appearances, but comes from the heart. Most Gargamels are single, as many Jamaicans who are married are faithful to their wives. Even if they have another woman in secret, they are not considered to be Gargamels. Certain DJs influence men to be Gargamels by making songs about how it feels to have more than one partner at a time. These tell these single people about their lives, how they had lots of women. When men who are single hear this, they want to experience it. But the Rastas ask, where is love in these types of relationships? They will never have this type of relationship. Although they realise that in today's world, especially in certain parts of Africa, this type of life is considered normal. But where men can have all the women they wish, but that's the reason why life is so hard for them and that there are so many types of diseases. Rastas believe that the human has one life and one God. Live it right in the way that Jah or God wishes people to live. They don't believe that some men are born like the Gargamels claim they are. For them, no one is born like this. A person lives with what he has learnt, and society has something to do with this. They're Gargamels. Okay, misty days, so called by the Rastas, are those days when there is misery, unhappiness, sickness, death and pain for them. Jamaica, jammed down, is a tropical climate, and therefore everyone should keep their faces bright. And still there are people who complain that they are too hot or it's too windy. It's too windy. These people do not know the luck they have. Girls deem fat. The Jamaican men like it when their women are really in shape. And being in shape for these men is not to be too fat or too slim. Certain singers gently mock women when they get too fat, and at the same time they will tell them not to worry because there are many slim women who are jealous of them. There are many Jamaican men who like it when their women are fat because these women protect them and keep them warm. They don't like women who are too slim because they can have many health problems even when they're carrying a baby. What Rastas say to all these problems, too slim, too fat, too small or too tall, is who are we to judge someone by their appearance? Jah creates, or God creates his people in his own image. They also believe that they are not the only ones to be criticised by their appearance, but everyone that society considers to be different. They aren't afraid of what society thinks of them, because even those who think that they are better than others are far from being perfect, because we are all imperfect. Today, certain human beings try to go against the will of Jah, or God, by trying to create a human statue, but they cannot give life to the statue. No one goes before God. The Rastas tell people who suffer all types of racism, just be yourself, never change anything of yourself for the love of someone, but only for the love of oneself. They know that in the society, if you are not strong, you can easily break down. In times like these, just leave everything to Jah or God. He'll find a solution. Gal. The word gal, girl, is used by many Jamaican singers and DJs in the dance hall. Certain women go wild when these DJs call women by this name or by this term, as they find this really romantic. There you go, guys. Carry on calling people gal. The DJs are very proud to tell women that they have many gal friends. They are really actors as they pretend to each woman that she is the most beautiful in their eyes. Okay. Studio 1. Give thanks. Let Jah be praised while I pray for my blessings to arrive. The Rastas say. They believe in giving Jah or God thanks for each day because no one knows what tomorrow might bring. They know what yesterday was like and they have seen today, but tomorrow only Jah or God knows. The Rastas make only short-term plans. They have dreams and wishes, but they will never make plans for the next 10 years. Backbiters. The backbiters, so called by the Rastas, are those people who pretend as though they are with you, but behind your back think nothing of you. Even though Rastas are always on good terms with everyone and stay amongst themselves in the mountains, minding their own business, there are always some people who will badmouth them just because they are Rasta. Skylarkers are those who refuse to work or pretend that there are no jobs for them because they do not have any qualifications. These persons stay on the road nearly 9 hours a day as if they were working to earn their wages. The Rastas believe that if these people don't do something about this, they will live under these circumstances all their lives. They believe that these people are prone to commit criminal acts as they want many things, but because they do not work and find it very difficult to be honest, they start robbing to get quick money. At the same time, they think that it is the parents who are at fault for spoiling their children and giving them everything they wish. After a while, as teenagers, the children find that working is too difficult or that they don't want to work for minimum wages. Some skylarkers watch people as they do their shopping and ask for a 10 cent or a 5 cent coin, but this cannot help. In society today, this is a really big problem because even very young children have begun doing this. There also exists what are called independent skylarkers, those who write on a piece of paper asking for some money. They sit beside this piece of paper, sometimes with their dogs. They don't harass anyone, and it's your choice to give them money or not. But there are those who don't have the choice. Begging is the only way they have of getting some money, other than borrowing. There are even those who can't work because of a handicap. Rastas consider that, for those people who are in these situations, begging is a necessity. But those who do this out of pure laziness must stop it before it's too late and they get out of order. Baldheads. The baldheads are people who consider themselves normal, who think that women should grow their hair and that men should have short hair. Most of them are prejudiced against Rastas, as they not only grow their hair long but also knot it and practice the religion of Rastafarianism. The Rastas know that these people do not accept them, but they are not even against this kind of biased thinking. Some of these people consider Rastas a danger to society in spite of never having talked to them. The Rastas know that they are not a danger to society, as they have never caused any kind of disruption whatsoever. They know that they are the ones who respect the environment the most. They never do anything to harm anyone. All they do is respect others just like they would like to be respected themselves. They believe that each time someone suffers, it is because of the baldheads. Positive vibes. To have positive vibes is to always be on good terms and be in a happy mood. The Rastas believe that you don't need lots of money to be happy, but to be with someone that you really love. This is what brings happiness. Jam Down. Jamaica is called Jam Down by the Rasta because of its musical vibes. The end of time. Many Rastas believe that this world will never end. According to the Bible, the world is without end. They believe that the end of the world is when someone has died. Only Jah or God alone knows when that would happen, or what will happen after. They don't believe in heaven for certain people and hell for others, but they believe that one who does what Jah or God expects him to do will be rewarded. For those who don't believe that there is a God, one day Jah or God will show them signs and wonders. God will soften the hearts of those whose hearts are tough, and when this happens, heaven will be here on earth. Yeah, pretty interesting book. Kaliana Juni blows the smoke away from the questions many people have in their minds about Rastafarians, Rastas, and their life in Jamaica. What do they believe in? Who is Jah or God? Why do they revere Haile Selassie and Bob Marley? How do they live? How do they raise families? Do they work? Why is reggae music so important to the Rastas? All in all, it's a peaceful picture that is presented here of a people who acknowledge the differences in humanity but do not presume to judge. The author doesn't shy away from tricky issues like skylarkers, gargamels, and single-parent families, but the image of rural joy in the middle of Babylon abides in this informative and entertaining guide to a misunderstood faith. Being a neighbour of Rastafarians over the years, I have learned to follow my dreams, keep on trying and not give up. Be me, myself and I. Have faith, believe in me and never say never. This person is Qädamawi. She's 26 years old. She was born in Jamaica in the parish of St. Anne. She was later moved to live in the hills 9 miles from St. Anne, where almost 3/4 of the population are Rastas. And she learned about and appreciates their ways of living. Well, that's really not easy. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video view of this book, Rastafari, Rasta for You, Rastafarianism Explained by Qädamawi, then hit the like button, subscribe, add your comments below, and then go share this with your family, friends and others so they can better understand what Rastafari or Rastafarianism is really all about. Okay, because most people just see it through one lens because of the media, etc., or gossips or whatever. Okay? They say, oh, they're this, they're that, they're of the devil, they're this, they're that. Okay? Because they have different religion or different belief system, different kind of culture, customs, habits, whatever. Okay? But yeah, there you go. There's what it's really like.